All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the man I have the pleasure of sharing the screen with comes to us from Robinson High School in Fairfax, Virginia, where he was an Under Armour All-American and the number 20 overall recruit. He went on to play for the University of North Carolina, where he became a national champion, two-time All-ACC team member, and third-team All-American. After college, he decided to go pro, was drafted 7th overall by the Chaos Lacrosse Club of the PLL, and will be starting his second professional season this coming July. Jack Rowlett, welcome to Open Up.
That is a incredible introduction. I appreciate that. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How about you?
Doing well, hanging in there, just getting ready for the season, working out hard.
Yeah. I saw that backyard gym you got going on. That looks pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, trying to figure it out. It's definitely not the safest setup, but we've been getting some good work in.
Yeah, it was, at least you're just getting it done. That's all we care about, right?
All you got to do is get it done. Exactly.
All right, so let's get right into it. What does mental health mean to Jack Rowlett?
Oh, I think mental health has been a big part of my growth as a player and a person. Like having good mental health is almost like knowing yourself and being able to be honest and open with yourself about if you are going through things, if you're struggling with something. Because I think a lot of times some of the problems and some of the stigmas behind mental health can make people almost push it away. Mm-hmm. So something I talk about when I talk to people about mental health is having good mental health is almost just knowing yourself very well and knowing when you're having a bad day or something's bugging you. And then obviously talking to someone or doing what you need to feel better and just kind of have a better day, have a positive outlook and everything.
So going from high school to college to now playing as a pro, do you think your definition of mental health has changed over the past, let's say, 8 to 10 years?
I think probably yes, for sure. My understanding, my acceptance of it definitely has changed. In high school, it was definitely something that no one really talked about or really addressed. Even coaches, teachers, mental health was never something we really learned about. It's never something that people even told you that you should be expecting to have. I mean, everyone goes through some sort of anxiety about something here and now. People have their ups, people have their downs. But when I got to college, actually, our team was really big on just like, whether it was just your mental health as it relates to playing sports and keeping kind of being level-headed on the field and being able to overcome adversity, or whether it was things you deal with on your personal life. Our team was very big on just having an open conversation the whole time, which was honestly awesome for me because I think sometimes athletes can be put in this bubble of you kind of always have to perform and nothing can go wrong. So having that ability to open up and talk to people and just recognize that there are so many similarities between you and everybody else, that the things you go through, other people go through. I think that definitely changed from high school to college. I've met a lot of guys in college who kind of deal with the same things on a daily basis that I do, and it made it a lot easier to just be myself and be more comfortable in that situation.
So when you were at UNC, did you what were some of the mental battles that you had? I mean, we got 20 to 30-hour weeks. We got film, lift, practice. You got class. You got to keep your GPA up. What were some of the mental battles that you went through in your 4 years?
So something that I really struggle with mentally is I always think that things have to happen the way I see it perfectly. And then if I think things are slipping out of line, I get really worked up about it. And I can't see the bigger picture sometimes. So like when you go in as a freshman, obviously you come out of high school and you have a really successful high school career, you have successful high school seasons, and you think that that's immediately going to translate, and it doesn't necessarily always translate like that. So I just was really worked up about sometimes. Like I'd have one bad practice and I would think, oh, I'm probably not going to play this whole year now, just one practice in the fall. Mm-hmm. And kind of that on top of then having schoolwork that's a new load. I think sometimes it can all build up, it kind of snowball and make it feel like things are suffocating and that you're not doing what you need to. But realistically, again, if you're able to recognize that and able to kind of talk yourself through it logically, it makes it easier and to kind of just take things piece by piece and to see a bigger picture.
Right. Did you ever see a difference with your mental health from the fall ball, off-season type stuff, then into the spring season? Did you see a change at all, or was it more consistent throughout the year?
So definitely, I would say I saw a difference over the summertime versus being at school. Because for us, our fall and our spring, we have the same practice and same class schedule. Like we're always in the morning. in the spring, obviously we have games, which is nice, and like it's very strict schedule. But even in the fall, like we're practicing from 7 to 11 and then taking classes and then tutors in the evening, and then you're going to bed and you're doing it the next day. But for me, it was not having that structure in the summer. If I was to get lazy, I would then like kind of over stress about not having enough time to get back into shape, and kind of going through constant battles of dealing with my own procrastination, and then just making it worse every time I'm not actually going there and working out. I'm thinking about, I didn't play well last season, or maybe I had a couple bad games. Is that going to be an effect this year? I'm not working out hard enough now. Is this going to affect where I play in the fall? I don't know. So for me, it was things like that, how I would always think about like the little things I wasn't doing right now was going to affect the big things later. And that was kind of a stress that I always had, that I think actually sometimes can push you to like go and work out and do things like that. But definitely something I always dealt with.
You said a word there I really like, structure. That was my key word, right? Like if I'm not structured, my mental health would kind of go places I didn't like it to go. So now as a pro athlete, you got a 9-to-5 job, and then you got to find time to work out and get ready for the upcoming season. How have those mental struggles of college changed as you become a pro athlete?
Oh, I think it definitely has changed. And in some ways it's easier because no one's holding you accountable. You have to be accountable to yourself. But at the same time, without that structure, you can slip into being lazy and not working out. You also don't have the same support system, as you don't have coaches you can kind of just talk to every day. You don't have 50 teammates in the locker room where if you're having a bad day, you can kind of get cheered up by something funny someone says. So you're kind of emotionally, you're kind of on your own, in the sense of you kind of have to dictate how you're doing and kind of intermix the hard work with the things that you enjoy, so that you're not overdoing it, you're not killing yourself, you're not feeling miserable and starting to dislike what you end up doing. I have actually found that like this is my first professional off season, because last year I went right from college. I mean, I had like 2 weeks after our college season ended, and then I was playing again. So that wasn't necessarily I didn't have to worry about being in shape. Mm-hmm. But this year's my first professional off season. I definitely found I started working out a little too early, I think. And I was just like grinding every day. And I just like literally looked at myself in the mirror one day and I was like, I hate what I'm doing right now. Like I hate lacrosse. I don't want to touch a weight. Like I'm so miserable. Like I would get so sad because like every day, like I thought like I couldn't have any fun or enjoyment because I needed to just work. And that really did just take a toll on me. I like didn't want to hang out with people because I was like, oh, like I don't want to like go drink because then I'm not gonna be able to work out hard tomorrow. I'm not gonna feel good. Like, and again, I was psyching myself out and I was putting too much pressure on it at the wrong time. Mm-hmm. But when I was able to step back and kind of look at it big picture, I was able to say, okay, I'm in a good position for being March. Like I need to kind of take things slow as the season progresses and as we get closer.
Okay. I mean, that's perfect advice. When Jack's having a bad day, is there something he does well, let's make this a 2-part question. 1, who do you go to when you're having a bad day?
So mostly my college teammates, because so we all saw, or not all of us, but there was probably 5 or 6 guys, and we all saw the same mental health, psychologists, psychiatrists.
Sports psychologists, right?
Yeah, sports psychologists. Yeah. But it was more than just like sports. It was kind of like everything, just like talk to her about everything. And like the first couple times I went, it was very I didn't know if I wanted people to see me walking in, because mm-hmm. It was in the sports tutor section. So everybody kind of knows who walks in and out. But it was really funny. A couple times I'd go in there and the person that walked out was one of my roommates. And I didn't even know that he was also seeing her. So then it kind of opened those doors. So luckily I have 4 or 5 college teammates where if I'm having a bad day, I can just call them. And then we kind of all been through the same struggles. We all know each other super well. So it's easy to be distracted almost and kind of just forget about, oh, I'm having a bad day. I can just talk to them. They kind of cheer me up. It's not, and it kind of makes a bad day into a good day because they know exactly what I need to kind of pop out of that.
I mean, that's awesome that you have that support system. Not everyone has the college team support system, but whether it's a club, it's a high school team, the idea behind this video series is to show, I mean, thank you for coming on. Guys like you are just opening up the platform, because maybe a high school kid looks at this video and goes, I mean, I saw this guy play pro and he's talking about mental health struggles. So I appreciate you coming on. Go ahead.
And I think that's actually something that like I definitely want people to understand. Anybody who watches this is kind of throughout my time of playing lacrosse, I've always been at the top of my game. I've always been one of the best players on my team, not trying to like boast or brag. That's just kind of how it's been. And sometimes I have gotten in the mindset of, I feel like I have to always put on this facade of being this like super dominant human being when that's not necessarily who I always am. And like sometimes I just want to go in there and like people almost expect something from you. Like people who see you from the outside think like, oh, I'm sure that guy has no bad days. Like he's just killing it. And that's not true. I mean, I wake up some days, I'm like, I hate what I'm doing. Like I'm just feeling really sad or feeling depressed or tired or down or just anxious, whatever it is. Like that's something that everybody goes through. And like my conversations with guys at every level, through high school, through college, and even at the professional level, it's something that everyone acknowledges and that everyone takes care of because it's so prevalent. I think the people who you see actually have the most success are people who have the ability to kind of work through their own mental health and are able to just know themselves really well and able to kind of work on that. So that's not something that continues to weigh them down as they do other things.
Right. I mean, you nailed it on the head. Second part to that question, we found out who you turn to, but is there an activity that you like to go do to just clear your mind?
In college, it was honestly going on like a run or just doing something like that. And it actually sometimes wasn't even good because like I would be like after practice or like at night and I just would like blow my legs out for the next day and I'd feel terrible at practice. But like if I had like a really bad practice and then I had classes all day long and then I had tutors and I didn't get to eat and I'm just like super just like I hate everything right now, I will come home and just literally put my headphones on and just like go on a real slow paced run, not even push, like not even crushing it, but just to try to get my mind as blank as possible. And almost like when I come back and after I get out of a shower, I feel fresh. I feel just kind of like almost like a new person. And for me, that's something that really helps. Is just like going, getting your mind off it, like working hard, getting sweaty, even if it's not super hard work, just something to clear your mind like that.
Right.
And then for me, taking a shower when I come out, like I feel just fresh and like I take that deep breath and I feel like almost like renewed.
Awesome. Last question. You're looking back at Jack Rowlett as a sophomore, junior in high school, or any high school athlete who's struggling with mental health. What is your advice?
Don't hide from it. Don't pretend that it's like a big deal because it's not. And it's only a big deal if you try to push it away and try to pretend that it's not actually in your life. I would say my best recommendation is to, first of all, talk to the person who you feel the most comfortable with. The first time I ever talked about, or I ever kind of admitted to someone else I had mental health problems was my senior year in high school. And I was in just a really, really low, crappy, awful spot. And I emailed one of my teachers. I was like, hey, I got to meet with you before school. Like, I don't even know what to say. I just like, I'm having a bad day. And it doesn't matter if it's a teacher, whoever it is, find someone who, when you're having those awful days, they'll just sit there and listen. And you can just get everything off your chest you need to get off. And a lot of the times that'll help a ton. It's just be able to say it and get out in the air and stop holding on to it. So yeah, my advice for a high school guy that's struggling with it would be to accept it, know that it's there, that it's not a big deal at all, and then find somebody who you can talk to, whether it's a friend, whether it's a teacher, whether it's your parents, whether it's someone who's a trained professional, anybody, just someone to talk to. Because a lot of the times people will have gone through the same thing and they'll have empathy and they'll be able to kind of support you and give you some positive just tips and advice to get through it.
Jack, thank you for coming on. Everybody check out Jack and the Chaos Lacrosse Club in the PLL Championship Series this summer, July 25th through August 2nd. Jack, thank you for opening up with us.
Yeah, you're the man. Absolutely.
Man, I appreciate it. And we'll talk soon. I'll be watching you on TV. Don't worry.
Sounds good.
Good luck.